to the other cyclists.
Yeah.
They always look at me funny, but it's just like, oh, like, good work for you being on a bike.
Welcome to another episode of Humans on E-Bikes. Today we've got Carlijn
Kerdijk, Carlijn Kerdijk. Difficult name.
She's from
The Netherlands.
the Netherlands. She's been here for 5 years, nearly 6.
Nearly 6, yes.
And in that time you've seen a lot of things change in Sydney with bikes, and it's probably been a bit of a culture shock
It was.
to
Like,
come
yeah.
to Sydney.
Coming here, I've got my aunt said, cycling is not the same as in Holland. It's very different, but I still got a bike and I ride everywhere.
And in that time you've worked for Bicycle New South Wales and
Yes.
started out as an intern.
Yeah, in 2015, and then I am about to start a new job in Melbourne.
Great.
Yeah.
So we're on some Orbea E-Katus, the e-bikes. Is this your first e-bike ride?
Yes, it's very nice. We're going up a hill and I don't have to pedal that hard.
Yeah. So we're riding over Anzac Bridge, which is pretty steep, tough effort for normal bike riders.
Not
And
for us today.
not for us, no.
No.
You recently wrote an article, Carlijn, about why cycling in Sydney is awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, I love cycling everywhere. A to B, you get to meet a lot of people when you ride. You get to say hi to a lot of cyclists when you're waiting for traffic lights. You're often a lot faster, and it's just like a good health benefit,
Yeah.
being active instead of sitting in a car or in a bus.
And when I've ridden in the Netherlands, I find everyone rides at about an average of 17 k's an hour,
Yeah,
and it's quite calm.
yeah.
It's not always the same over here.
No.
What's the difference? Like, is it
It's
is
a
it 'cause
bit,
it's competitive or?
Yeah, it feels sometimes a bit of a race here in Sydney, and I don't really partake in that. You want to get from A to B, and you want to do that in a happy and cruisy way in your nice outfit that is ready for work. So yeah, I think it's not a race getting anywhere on a bike when you're commuting. And that's a bit of a difference between the Netherlands and Sydney, in my opinion, that sometimes it feels like a race here.
And I think that's what kind of scares a lot of people, because cycling looks like a sport. You know, if you're driving a car,
Yeah.
you see all these people in Lycra flying past.
Yeah,
But then there's people like yourself, or like say my sister, who rides in their normal outfit.
Yeah.
They get to work, they don't have a shower because they're just cruising,
yeah.
and they go straight to the desk.
Yeah, it's like just a way to get to work really quickly and efficient. And of course you've got people that are riding longer distance, and maybe it's a bit more comfortable to wear sport outfits. But in Sydney there's a lot of opportunities for people to ride to work because they live within like 5 to 10 kilometers of work. And I don't think people need to feel that they need to do that fast or need to do it in Lycra, because it's definitely possible with the facilities and the bike infrastructure that you've got around the CBD to get into work in your nice suit or a dress or whatever you're wearing for work.
And right now we've ridden across the Anzac Bridge. We're gonna go, this is kind of a fake commute, because
Yes, it's not really my commute, but
it's a good example of if you lived in Balmain or
yeah.
or Roselle, you could ride across the bridge. And
And
then we're riding past Channel 10 now, and then we're going to go down into Barangaroo. And as you can see, we haven't really come across any cars now. Granted, it's after 9 o'clock, we're not
Yeah.
in peak hour, but normally this route would be jam-packed full of cyclists or riders. So a
Cycle away.
dedicated bike path.
Thank
Nearly
you.
got you. And we've got a green
light.
bike
That
light
doesn't
here. Doesn't often
here.
happen, no. Star City on the corner.
This is part of the commute I used to do. So I used to work as well here in Fairmont.
Yeah.
And I live in Paddington, so I would take this little bit towards Fairmont. Oh, we got another green.
God, this is very rare.
Towards Fairmont as well, go around Darling Harbour. It's also a nice busy area, so it's a lot of times you just have to slow down and give way to pedestrians, which I think is another thing that is a bit of a difference in Holland and Sydney. Bit of the hierarchy that you've got in Holland is pedestrians have right of way always.
Yep.
The most vulnerable people, and then come bikes and then cars.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that maybe in Sydney we have to learn a bit more, is that pedestrians are the most vulnerable ones, and cyclists do need to give them a bit more space and be a bit more aware of them when you're riding on a shared path.
This bridge is chaos in the mornings or in the commutes.
Yeah.
It's a real tricky one because there's so many people walking and so many people riding, but there's no organisation.
Yeah.
What would happen in the Netherlands with a situation like this? Would they put a bike path down the middle? Would they build a separate bridge? Like, what's the kind of attitude
Holland,
in these like high pedestrian zones?
In Holland, the thing that you've got in Australia is called shared pathways. They don't really exist in Holland.
Right.
It's, as I said before, that the separation between cars, pedestrians and cyclists is a lot more clear defined.
Right.
So it would be a shared path here would definitely be a bike path and a footpath.
So it's been very easy on a separated bike path. You're very comfortable on the road.
Yeah.
Give us some tips to feel comfortable
on the road.
On the road, being in the cars like we are now.
Yeah, I think always make sure that you are visible.
Yep.
So we're actually now stopped behind a big truck. I often see people squeeze between the car that's parked next to us and the truck in front.
Yep.
I think the way to keep yourself inside of other cars is taking the lane where you can. So don't try and squeeze between that parked car and the truck in front of us just because you might be a bit quicker. So as now we're stopped again in front of a traffic light, just like stay in the middle of the lane. You actually have the right to be in this lane, so don't feel you have to squeeze yourself in like the gutter somewhere. I think that's the key thing.
And you had a tough run a couple of months ago where you saw essentially 2 people die.
It was not a pleasant thing. As I said before, there was an incident with a truck that hit a cyclist. It's still unclear how it happened, but that definitely made me more aware of not squeezing between cars and trucks that, they might not see you and they might turn unexpectedly.
About 4 or 5 people die a day in Australia from cars. Don't really hear about it, but I think it damages the story of cars.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on like making such a big deal about cycling deaths?
Yeah, it's very sad, of course, and every death is unnecessary, but with traffic and the way that the world is now, I think there's always going to be some sort of a danger, either riding a bike or driving a car. And it's also the way that, in Holland is portrayed as like such a safe cycling country, but last year there were more cycling deaths than ever before. So it's not just Australia that struggles with, traffic deaths and cyclist deaths. So just part of life, and I think we have to accept that moving around in this world comes with a bit of a risk and a danger.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's not nice to say a life is worth dying, but a lot of people, you have a crash on a bike, especially if you do it for sport, they're like, you're going to get back on the bike, but life is about risks versus reward.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start riding, there's a lot of rewards that outweigh the risks, and especially the ongoing health is like much better than being sedentary. And talking about being sedentary, let's go get a croissant.
Oh, yes, please.
Over here. First Rate Bakery.
Oh, yeah.
So here we are, I have a great example of a car right on our tail.
Yep.
Revving his engine.
It's okay. I've got the right to ride here, so he'll just have to wait.
I'll go left here.
Yeah.
So when you, like what we just had there, where you got a car applying pressure, kind of revving their engine, driving uncomfortably close.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Trying to make you go faster.
Yeah.
What's your advice?
In that situation, I think you should just do what feels good for you and don't put yourself in a dangerous situation because someone else makes you feel like you have to.
That's pretty much advice for life, isn't it?
It is. I mean, here being all like, oh.
Now, I think it's very easy for you to say all these things because you ride a lot. You've grown up riding.
Yeah.
You ride in Lycra for a sport.
Yes.
But, you know, what about people who don't ride? Like, who are thinking of making that step?
Yeah.
Like, do you think, what's your advice? Get an e-bike, you know, go start on the weekends?
After today, I definitely want an e-bike.
Let's go right up here.
I think the best thing would be if you have someone that already rides and can help you out with a bit of tips and like take you around to some good places. But the key is just to start. Yep. Just start, find a park like here, Barangaroo, and just start riding, even if you take the train or the bus, and just take your bike and go somewhere that you feel safe and just start.
I'm biased, but I think, you know, these e-bikes and riding, the risk versus reward is just so good, you know, and it's really hard to explain to someone why you do it.
Yeah.
Because it does look weird, it does look dangerous, but, and it's hard to say this without sounding like some weird hippie that's kind of an extremist, but it's a pretty good way to get around, isn't it?
It is so easy, and it's just really positive, and it's just a happy thing to do, cycling from A to B.
Yeah.
You see good stuff, you get to interact with people, and you're being active while getting somewhere. So yeah, I don't think there's any negatives to it. For me, like riding a bike, it's always just been something that is part of life. I've never seen it as something unique that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I think in the end, my dream would be that that is just a normal thing in Australia as well, that, you know, I am very much for like, go ride your bike, girls, because it is a men's thing. But like in the end, I just want it to be something normal, that it doesn't get looked at as like a very unique thing.
Well, Carlijn, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Humans on e-bikes.
Yes, thanks for the e-bike.
No, you don't get to keep it.
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry. All right, well, till next time.
Bye. Doei.